Welcome to experiment number 2. In the last experiment, that is experiment number 1, we have already familiarized with you the operations and functions of DSO and the function generator. In this experiment, we are going to familiarize some more functions and some more operations of DSO, starting first with the function keys. Last time, as we have explained to you all, that there are 5 function keys which are mentioned from F1 and going to the bottom till F5. So these are function keys F1, F2, F3, F4 and F5. These function keys are used to choose various functions which I will show you a bit later. Now moving on to the second button, that is the cursor button. I will familiarize more with the cursor button, what function it does. This is the cursor button, just right of the variable knob. The cursor button is used to basically measure vertical and horizontal measurements through either the vertical axis or the horizontal axis. Right now we are able to see 2 vertical axes so that we can measure horizontal time division axis with this. So to select any of the lines or to move or vary the lines, we use this variable knob to move it left or right. Now as we can see that moving this variable knob, we can shift this vertical line to the right or left as desired. Now if you want to move this second line, this second vertical line to left or right, you just have to select this X2. Here at the display there are 2 segments, X1 and X2. Respectively, X1 is for this first line and X2 is for this second line. As soon as we select this X2, the second line comes in a continuous way and the first, which is not selected, is in a dotted fashion. Now again, moving this variable knob, we can see that we are able to move this vertical line to left or right. Now suppose we want to measure the time between the peak to peak of this waveform. Now for the positive peak, the 2 measurements of the vertical lines, we have the value coming out, that is being displayed over here, to be 0.5 millisecond. That gives the time between for the positive cycle. Similarly, for the negative cycle, if you want to calculate the time, we just again have to move this line for which we want to calculate. Again, we can see from the measurement that is being displayed, it comes out to be 1.5 milliseconds. So moving the lines, we can measure the values on the x-axis. Similarly, if you want to measure the values on y-axis, that is, if you want to measure for vertical axis, the amplitude axis, we again have to select this xy knob, which is being displayed over here, xy. Selecting this xy, we can now measure for the vertical axis, that is the amplitude axis. Again, since if you want to move the first line above or bottom, we again have to select this y1. Again we can shift this line top or bottom with this variable knob. Like if you want to measure the peak to peak amplitude. So the first line has been shifted to the peak of the positive cycle, and the second line, that is the y2, can be shifted to the negative peak. Now the measured value will be displayed over here. That is the difference between the y1 and y2 line, and it comes out to be around 4.8 value, roughly 5 volt. So these cursors, these horizontal and vertical cursors, can be used to measure the x-axis, that is the time axis, and the amplitude axis values. Now moving on to these functions buttons, we can, these are 5 functions buttons, F1 to F5, but we can measure up to 19 functions with these functions buttons, out of which 12 are of voltage and 7 are time measurements that we can do with these 5 functions buttons. These functions buttons can be selected with this measure. Currently, the measurements with these 5 functions are displaying, or these 5 function buttons are used to measure, are displayed over here. Like the first function button is displaying peak to peak voltage. The second function button is displaying the period, and the third function button is displaying minimum voltage. The fourth function button is displaying duty cycle, and again the fifth peak to peak voltage. So these displays can be selected on our choice, whatever we require for our experiment. Like if you want to select for F2, these are the 19 functions that we can select through these 5 function keys. The 12 voltage and the 7 time measurements are displayed over here. Out of these which we require, we just have to select any of these by moving this variable knob to that measurement value. For example, if we want to measure the average value, we just have to shift it to the average and press this previous menu. As we can see, the second function key has been shifted to V average. So it is now currently displaying the average voltage. Similarly, for the second or the third button, if you want to select any other function, so out of these 19 function measurements, we again select any of that which we require. For example, from the time measurements, if you want the rise time, so again we select it and then press the previous menu button, and you can see for the third function we are getting the rise time measurement at the third function key. Similarly, any of the required 19 measurement values we can select from the function keys, and it can be displayed over here for our convenience. Now, one of the very important key of this DSO is the help key. It is used to give the information about any of the keys, and it gives the functions of that key, and whatever required information is stored in it, it displays on it. For example, if you want this math function, if you want to understand the function of this math button, we just have to press the help button and press this math button. Here will be displayed the functions of the math buttons. What functions can be performed with this math button? Like with the math button, we can perform some of the 2 input channels, the difference of the two input channels, the FFT and other things. We can move these functions up and low with this variable knob. For other button like cursor, again we can get from the help button what exactly the function is of the cursor button. The property and the functions of the cursor is displayed over here, and from the variable knob we can shift it upwards to see other functions of it. Now to get out of this help segment, we again have to press this help button. So we come back to this original screen. Now the part of the experiment that we are going to show first is the generation of a 500 Hz square wave, that is a asymmetric square wave from the function generator. Currently it is displaying a 500 frequency, and from the wave button we have selected the square wave. The square wave is of 500 Hz. Now we have to change its duty cycle. So using this shift and this duty, we can change its duty cycle as we require it. Like for this experiment, we want our duty cycle to be 25%. Since we are providing a 500 Hz frequency from the function generator, so the waveform will have a time period of 2 milliseconds. So for making a duty cycle of 25%, we have to set the positive peak to be of 0.5 millisecond. So we'll select this duty cycle using the shift and duty, and this is the variable knob. We can vary the value of the duty cycle with this knob. Currently we want it to be 25%. Now as we can see on the DSO, the square wave is a symmetrical square wave having peak volt of 5 volt peak to peak and a duty cycle of 25%, that is being displayed over here, 25%. And the peak, positive peak, is having a 25%, that is 0.5 millisecond and the negative cycle is having 1.5 millisecond time. We can measure these values from the cursor. For example, if you want to measure the time period of this waveform, so we want a vertical axis for it, vertical cursor, so that we can measure the horizontal values, horizontal axis values, time values. Now since we have shifted both the vertical lines from the corresponding to one time period, we can observe that the time period will be given by the difference of these two vertical lines, and as we can see it is being displayed to be 2 milliseconds. Since we are providing a wave of 500 Hz. Now if you want to calculate the positive peak time, again we can select this X1, and we can shift this line to here. Again, the difference between these two vertical lines will display the time of this positive cycle, which is roughly around 0.5 millisecond. And for the negative cycle, we can measure for the negative cycle by moving this vertical line. Again, we can see, observe the value. The difference between these two vertical lines is coming out to be 1.5 millisecond. Now for the vertical measurements, we press this bottom function key, that is xy, to obtain the y lines. Now, for example, if you want to measure peak to peak voltage, you just have to bring it peak over here, and roughly the value is around 5 volt. That voltage we are supplying from the function generator. Now, the B part of this experiment is to provide an offset from the function generator using this offset knob. The offset is provided by pulling out the offset button outside, and if you want to provide an offset, first we will have to bring this waveform to 0 level. The negative peak will be at 0 level and the positive peak will be at 5 volt. And we will turn off the offset and provide an amplitude of 5 volt using the amplitude knob. Currently, the amplitude provided is of 5 volt. So we can now observe the pulse waveform from the DSO, and we can turn on the offset. Now, moving on to the second part of this experiment. Now, familiarizing with the passive circuit elements, that is the second part of the experiment. First, we will introduce with the resistors. Resistors are basically of 3 types that can be classified as per their composition, power rating and tolerance. Here we can see some of the resistors which are of different compositions or of different tolerance or power rating. Resistors value can be measured using the color coding. The color code is depicted on the resistance. The values for each color band is given in the handout for the experiment. The different values are used to calculate the resistance values as per the color band. The color comes for whichever band. Now, the second passive circuit or the device, that is the capacitor. The capacitor is also of some various types like electrolytic, polyester, paper, mica, ceramic, etc. The values of the capacitors generally vary from some picofarad to microfarad. On some capacitors, the values are also depicted for the capacitance. For example, if mentioned 104 on a capacitor, that means that it has a capacitance of 10 into 10 to the power 4 picofarad. In this board, we can see some of the capacitors. Ceramic, mica, electrolytic and other types. Now moving for the third passive device, that is the inductor. Inductors are also of various types which depends on its wounding of the inductor, like a single wounded, multiple wounded and honeycomb inductors. Now on this board the inductors are shown over here. Some of the types of the inductors we can see from this board. Now moving on to the third part of this experiment, that is the display of IV characteristics of RLC elements as shown in the manual or the handbook. The circuit, we have tried to construct the same circuit in this breadboard. First with the resistors, the device under test first is the resistor as specified the value of the resistor in the manual. Now we are providing a waveform, sinusoidal waveform of frequency 1 kHz from the function generator of a voltage of 5 volt peak to peak. The waveforms as given in the input and the output can be seen in this display segment. The yellow one showing the V0 and the blue one showing Vm as specified in the handbook. Now by changing the values of the frequency, whether or not there is a change in the output waveforms, we can observe that. Now moving from the changing the device under test from resistors to the capacitors. Now we have changed the device under test from resistors to capacitor, and we can observe the waveforms, the input, that is the V0 and the Vm in this display segment. The yellow one showing V0, the blue one showing Vm. We can see a phase lag of the 90 degree between V0 and Vm. That comes due to the presence of the capacitor in this circuit. Now again we will change the frequency as given in the manual, and we can again observe the change in the waveform that will be displayed in this DSO. Now again changing the DUT from capacitor to inductor. The DUT is the device under test. We have now changed it to inductor. The device under test has been changed from capacitor to inductor as shown over here. The resistance value has also been changed as depicted and given in the manual. Now we can observe the waveforms on the DSO. The yellow one showing the V0, the blue one showing the Vm. Again, if we change the frequency as given in the manual, we can observe the waveforms, the variation and the change in the waveforms as we change the frequency. Okay, coming to the last part of the experiment, that is the IV characteristics of RLC elements. We will observe it on the DSO. Now we are providing a 50 Hz waveform from the function generator. The signal has a 5 volt peak amplitude, and the circuit that we have made on the breadboard is the same that has been shown in the manual. Now we are performing it, and the observations of the waveform is seen on the DSO. The yellow one showing V0, the blue one showing VM. Now, since the device under test for this part is the resistance, hence the V0 and VM are in phase, and we are going to observe the XY plot of the IV characteristics of the resistance circuit. Now we can select the XY by selecting this menu and selecting this XY knob. Here we are able to observe the IV characteristics for a resistance circuit, that is the device under test. Now similarly we can perform for other frequency ranges as mentioned in the manual and other resistance values. Now changing the device under test to capacitor, now since the device under test is the capacitor, we can observe the waveforms on the DSO. The same signal of 50 Hz frequency and 5 volt peak from the function generator is given to the circuit. The waveforms as shown on the DSO, the V0 by yellow, the blue waveform for VM. Since we have used a capacitor in the circuit, hence we can observe a phase lag for the output V0, VM. Now again, if we want to observe the XY characteristics of the IV waveform, we again have to select the menu, and from there we have to select this XY mode. Similarly, for the other frequency ranges as mentioned in the manual, we can observe the IV characteristics for the capacitor device under test. Now similarly we can observe the IV characteristics for inductor by putting appropriate components on breadboard as specified in the manual. Thank you.